Well, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do something real easy. Everybody will be able to do this one. I had a lot of comments on the leaded glass floral displays, but a lot of people have no way to fuse the pocket so that they can put the flowers in it. So I'm going to show you a real easy one. This will be primarily for beginners, but what we're going to do is we're going to design a real simple wall hanging one right here, and we're going to take and we're going to create a pocket by cutting some thin strips of glass, and we will epoxy them onto a face plate, and then we'll epoxy them onto our base glass as we go along here. So to get started here, we're just going to take our tools here, we'll move them out of the way here a little bit, and this is going to be a real simple one. So we're just going to come in here, we're going to create just a straight line right here, just like this. And then we're going to come in here, we're going to find our center point. This is 8.5 by 11, so it'll be 4 1/4 right here in the middle. In the middle here, we're going to run a strip of colored glass. It's going to be 2 5/8 inches wide. So that's going to be 1 5/16 will be the middle of it. So right there is where we want to go. 2 5/8 is right here. So I'm going to just draw a couple up lines right here, just like that. This will represent the middle of our project. Then I'm going to have a 1-inch border all the way around it. So we have a 1-inch ruler right here. We're going to do this really simple. We're just going to set this ruler in here like this. I'm going to make a couple lines here. I'm going to run the border up this way too. Just like this. Stick it over here. So again, remember, this is going to be for beginners. So if you're just new at this, this will be something that everybody will be able to do, and it'll make a very attractive little hanger to go on the wall. So this is the center glass we're going to use. It's a blue iridescent. It's left over from the other one that we had, so that's how they came up with this 2 5/8 wide, because that's all that was just left of it. So it's going to go in here like this, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to stick it in here, and I'm just going to use this real quick for a measurement right here. So that's where it's going to end. So I'll come over here to my T-square right here, bring it up to this line right here, come across here. Here again, going to put a 1 inch right here. Oops, need to draw that all the way across. My bad. There we go. Okay, so basically what's going to go in these corners here, I've already cut them here, so we've got some pieces like this. So these little blue ones are going to go in here. They're going to go just like that. Our centerpiece is going to go in here. And I'm going to go ahead, going to go offline, and I'm going to make us a little pocket to go in here. So I'll show you how we've done that. And then when we come back, I'll show you how we're going to attach this to our base plate here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll cut our iridescent ripple glass. Probably going to break it here and here with a lead seam. This is a fairly small area right here. We'll just leave it like it is. So I'll be back in a little while. We'll go ahead and create the pocket for it. We're going to, just like I said, we're going to use some thin pieces of glass. We're going to have a faceplate that'll match this one here, and we'll just epoxy them together, and then we'll take and we'll grind all the edges smooth, so it'll make a real nice little pocket, and you won't have to worry about not being able to fuse it. So anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we're back. I cut up some pieces here to show you how we're going to do this. Like I said before, it's not quite as nice as fusing it, but not everybody has the luxury of having a kiln. So This is an easy way to get you a pocket, and this two-part epoxy will really hold this down. You'll break the glass before you get it apart. So the way the epoxy works is you have a two-part, one's a hardener, so you put down equal parts of it here, and it has about a 5-minute working time, so you have to go pretty quick with it. So just put down equal parts here, like that. Then take some kind of a stirring stick here and you stir it together, make it together. After you get it all blended together, there'll be kind of a gray look to it. Okay, be sure you got your good piece facing down, so you don't want to glue it on the wrong side. And then you just take one of your little strips here and just take and put some epoxy on it. Just go just like this. Like that, and you're going to stick it right in the side of your glass here. Now we don't care if this sticks over a little bit, because we're going to, after this hardens, we're going to take and we're going to grind all the sides down to smooth them up. So here again, we're just going to put some epoxy on here. Stick it down here. Now this will make a pocket that's going to have an 1/8 inch or whatever the thickness of the glass is. So if you wanted to make a bigger pocket, then you'd have to put double up on the thickness of this, whatever you're going to glue down. So here again, just stick that on there. Put this right here. Right at the bottom of it here. So that's all there is to it. And then what we'll do here is, when we kind of just fool around with it, get it lined up where you want it here. What we'll do with this, when it cures, we'll go ahead and we'll put this on the grinder, and we'll grind these edges round. We'll clean it up at the top here, and that'll create our pocket. I mix this on a little piece of glass, so I can take and wipe this off. This is just a little piece of scrap glass. So anyway, this is a two-part epoxy, and I've used it for years. It works really well, and you can get it at any hardware store. You can get it online, and so it'll bond it, like I said. It'll bond it so tight that if you want to try to get it off the glass, you'll actually break the glass before you break the seal. So we'll let this set for a couple hours, and then when we come back, I'll take and I'll have ground it all down, and I'll show you what the finished product's going to look like. So this is just an alternate to the fusing. All right, I'm back. It's been about 3 hours since we glued up our little pocket for our project that we talked about. This would be the pocket that were made up, that we took and glued some glass strips to the top of a little pocket. And so here's what it looks like. So it came out here. Here's the all ground up now. So it created a pocket right here. So this would be an alternative to the fusing. Like I said, not everybody has a kiln or has access to one. So this would work fine. You just take some of your two-part epoxy, put it right here, around here, and then you would place it on your base glass, whatever you're going to do here. And then you'd have a place to insert your flowers here, right here, like this. So you could put your flowers down here. If you don't think 1/8 of an inch is large enough for as many flowers as you want to put in there, you can always take and stack another layer of glass on here. So keep that in mind too. You could build this out. And if since we're going to hang this on the wall, nobody's going to know that you've actually stacked some pieces of glass together to do this. And I think you'll be happy with the outcome on it. So anyway, this is just an alternative. You might want to give it a try, and if you're thinking about making one like this. I've made several of these that I've just made maybe 3.5 or 4 inches high, and cut it off here, and just built a square one to hang on the wall. So that would work really well for. All right, we're back. We got our pocket all made right here. So here's the top of it. And here's what we did right here. We took and just cut some thin strips of glass and we epoxied them onto the back side of our face plate. This I used 2 pieces of this is about 3 millimeter glass, so it's not. This is just barely 1/4 of an inch high. That's we don't probably need it that high, but that's the way that worked out. Now what we'll do, we'll take and we're going to right on the inside edge here. We'll run some 2-part epoxy around here, and we'll glue it to this base plate right here, about maybe 1/4 to 3/8 inch up from the top, and that's how that'll go together. And then when we get it all together, we can go ahead and we'll go ahead and we'll put our flowers in it. This is just single, but we can put multiple flowers. You can have them going off or do whatever. Up here at the top, on the back side, we're going to put a hanger on it, so you can go ahead and you can hang this on the wall. So it's a very small, very simple piece. We can probably make this in 3 or 4 hours. There's no tricky cuts to it at all, and it'll be a lot of fun to do. So we'll be back in a minute. I'll go ahead and get some epoxy mixed up. I'll show you how we're going to put that on there, and then we'll go off and I'll cut the rest of the glass here. Then we'll come back on and we'll show you how to lead it and complete the project. Okay, so we're back. We got our epoxy out now. If you've never used this, it's a 2-part. You put an equal part of each A and B here, and you just put it on. I put it on a piece of old glass here. So you just take this, and you can see this is these tubes have been used. They last forever. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to squeeze out a portion like that. You want to do it, try to do equal parts. It's not super critical if you get one a little bit bigger than the other. You just want to have one really off as far as the amount of hardener or base material. After you've got them apart, you take and you mix them together. And these have a working time of about 5 minutes. So after you get them all worked together, you kind of want to get them on your project and then get it glued to whatever you're going to glue it to, because it'll start to harden already, and then it won't work very well. So we're going to just try to keep it on the inside edge here, because we don't want it to be showing on our project. So we're just going to come up here and we're going to just take and pull it down here like this. You don't need a whole lot. It's kind of runny, so keep an eye on it. If you do get some that bleeds over onto your face plate, you can use lacquer thinner or mineral spirits to wipe it off before it dries. So we're going to go ahead and get this all on here like this. I realize this is not as pretty as the fused one, but like I said before, not everybody has a kiln or access to one. So this is just an alternative. If you like the idea and you'd like to try this, this is a way to do it. When this is hanging on the wall, nobody will ever know that you glued these all together. So keep that in mind. Okay, so after I've got that on there, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to try to place this at a one-shot deal right here. I don't want to wiggle it all around. Okay, and I'm going to put some pressure on it. Going to wiggle it back and forth just a little bit to get our epoxy seal down. And we're going to let it go right there. So that looks real good. We got a little bit of a bleed over here on this side here. I'm going to take and wipe this off. I might be able to just take the pointer before it dries and move that out of the way. You can see it right here. There, I got it moved away. So look around the edges here. Make sure you don't have any bleeding through here. Here's a little bit right here. It's not bad. Okay, so that takes care of getting that pocket on there now. It's a little bit right there. If you do have some that bleeds through, it comes over, get it off right away, because after about 5 or 6 minutes, it'll be stuck to the glass so hard that you won't be able to get it apart. This epoxy, by the way, when you glue these together, if you decide you want to take it apart for some reason, if it's dried, you'll break the glass before you get the epoxy to break loose. So be sure you've got it lined up the way you want it and ready to go before you start gluing stuff together, because otherwise you'll have a real problem on your hands. So we'll go ahead and cut up our iridescent crinkle glass here. And then, like I said, we're going to split this right here. But we can do that right now. Let's just pull this away and see what this measures right here, just so you got a good idea of what we're doing here. Like I said before, this is primarily for beginners, so we don't want to skip any steps here. We're at 8 1/4, so it's going to be 4 1/8. Will be the center right there. So we're going to take this, put our T-square back in here. We'll line it up right here, and we'll break these right here with a piece of H-came to put this together with. All right, so it takes about 5 or 6 minutes for that to start to cure, and for it to cure all the way, you want to leave it on there for several hours. After that, it's going to be there forever. So we'll go ahead and go offline, cut the rest of this glass, and when we come back on, I'll have this mounted on our build board here, and we'll go ahead and show you how we're going to put this all together. So we'll be back in a minute. All right, back. We got our pattern down on our build board here. We're using a homozoid board. We're going to use a 5/8 inch push pin to build this with. I made a 90-degree angle right here. We'll start here in the corner and build out. This is one of my cut and stack projects. So if it starts to grow a little bit bigger, we don't really care. It doesn't have an exact fit for where it needs to go. So we use this 90-degree angle here as a starting point. Around the outside edges, we're going to put what they call U-came. If you're not familiar with that, here's what it looks like. It makes the letter U, and this will go around the outside edge of our project. So it'll come down the sides, across the bottom, and back up. And in here, we're going to use what they call H-came. H-came looks like this, makes the letter H. And the glass slides into the channels on each side. So that will lock them in. And then when the joints come together, we'll take and we'll solder them together. So I'll go offline. I'm going to cut all the pieces of lead for this to go in here. And we'll go ahead and show you how to put it together. The lead is cut using a pair of cutters. They're lead dikes, and they come together. You use the smooth side to create a straight edge, and you just put it in here, and you take and you cut your straight edge. So these will be sitting in here like this as we start to build this. Like I said before, this is for beginners, so you may not be familiar with the lead dikes or the came itself. So you want to check some of the other videos that I've done. The one for the solar lantern for beginners has all the tools and so forth you need to make this project. So you might go from there. So anyway, we'll be back in a minute. I'll get this all cut up, and then we'll put this all together. This won't take very long to put together. And then we'll go ahead and we'll solder it up. And we'll go ahead and put some flowers in it, put a hanger on it, and we'll be done with the project. So it's fairly short. All right, we're back. We got all our pieces cut now. So here's our clear ripple glass that we're going to use down the sides here, our iridescent. Over here, we've got our little blue squares cut. This is our centerpiece here with our pocket that's been epoxied onto it. I've got 2 down pieces of lead to come down here. We've got 2 pieces of H-came that'll come down through here. And then we got some H-came to go across here. So as I said before, this is going to be a really easy one to put together. So to put it together, we're going to take a piece of U-came. I cut it down to 45. It's going to sit in here just like this. We're going to take a header piece. Here again, U-came, cut on to 45. We'll stick it in here like this. We'll take a stick pin here, and we're going to just take it, we're going to push it up against it just like that. And then we're going to start right here in this corner right here. We're going to put in our first square, take one of our little pieces of lead right here, and then we'll take one of the down pieces right here. We'll set it in here just like that. And then we're going to bring this over here, put it in here like that. So that gets us started right there. So then we're going to use a little header piece right here. Make sure they're all going the right way. You notice that I've got all the lines going so that these are all going up and down. I like to keep it all going the same direction. That one's going to go right there. This one's going to go in here. That one's going to go right here. And then we have our other piece of down U-came. It's going to come down here. Just like that. Going to put a pin in here. Then I'm going to come back right here. And I'm going to just take a piece of H-came here. Here again, I'm going to use my dike, so I'm going to go flat side to flat side. And I'm going to measure it right here. Just mark it. Cut it, stick it in here. That one's a little bit too long right there. There you go, that's what we're looking for. And we'll put our little piece in here. Then we're going to take our base plate here with our pocket in it. We're going to come up here and we're going to insert it in our H-came. Make sure it's up in the channels, otherwise it won't fit. There we go. Bring it down, it should be a nice tight fit. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do right here, before I go any further, I'm going to just bring in another little piece of my form wood. I'm going to set it right in here, and I'm going to get my 45-degree triangle, and I'm going to set it in here, run it up here, make sure this is square up and down, and I'm just going to take some push pins. Make sure it's in here tight. Just going to put a few push pins in here. So that gives us our, now we have a frame to build inside of here. So right here, we're going to take another little piece of H-came. It goes right in here. And this one right here, I've left long on purpose. So we'll take it and we're going to put it in here. Going to slide it down. And now we're going to cut it off right to match this base plate right here. And I'll take and I'll use my little square. If I can find it, here it is. So I'm going to come up here right against this area right here, and I'm going to mark that piece of glass right there. And that will give us a nice tight intersection right here. So I'll push that out. But before I cut that, I'm going to come over here on this side here, push everything over, and I'm going to take and I bring this one down here. If it looks like it's going to be a little bit too tight, you may have to loosen these up a little bit, which it looks like it's going to be a little bit too tight here. Take this back and pin it here again. There we go. Okay, we're going to set one in here. And then we'll bring this other one down in here. Push it all the way in. Take my little T-square here again. Come across the top of this, right across here. I'm going to mark it. So now we're going to cut them here. So this will be lined up just like this one down here at the bottom. So I'll go off real quick and cut those real quick and then come back and we'll stick them in here. And we'll put this top piece on and put a header across here and the project will actually be done. All right, we're back. I got these two pieces cut now. So here they are. So they'll just insert right in here. Pull our pin out here, push it down. Put a little piece of H-cam right here, pin it, put a piece of H-cam across the top of our main base here, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll put this one in here, push it in. That one's a little bit too short. Let's cut another one for that. You want to keep these joints as tight as you can because then you have a better soldering job when they're nice and tight. If you've got big gaps between the joints, it creates a problem for you when you get ready to solder. So try to keep them up nice and tight. Just gives you a little bit better job when you're all done with it. There we go. Now, these little guys are going to go on the ends here. Got to get it up in the channel here. Going to take our end piece right here. Get it up against the... I'm going to get a little piece of U-came here to hold that. I'm using a U-came to hold that in there because if you don't do that, if you put your pin right next to the glass, you may chip it. And a lot of times if you chip it, you don't see it until you get the whole thing put together. And then all of a sudden you realize you've got a problem right here. So anyway, we got it all put together now. So now we need to put an end on it here. And we're going to put an end on it right like this. Comes across here like this. I should have probably left these two down pieces longer so I could do the ends, but this will work just fine. We'll put it on here and we'll come over on the back side here and we'll take and we'll solder that in. But we've got these are sticking over here a little bit, so what we need to do, need to push this stuff back out of here, and we need to trim these back because this needs to be sitting down inside here. Otherwise, right here, these are, if we're going to run it across the top like that, we need to cut these back here just a little bit so that this could go in there. So this will work out just fine. So we'll just go ahead and push this stuff out. You work hard to make this stuff fit real nice and tight, and then when you get it all together, you have an issue with it. So it's kind of interesting. You going to have to push this one out of here too, because I don't want to bend this at a too sharp of an angle here. There we go. Sometimes when you're doing, when you're putting it together, you have to change your thought process a little bit to make sure that you've got it the way you want it. There we go. Just trim this off just a little bit. There we go. All right, we're back on track now. We'll stick that in there, put our color piece in here. Again, you notice I've got arrows marked on this showing where this is up. There we go. Nice little piece of form wood to go in here. Just give it a little tap here. Okay, I want to take my square now, and I want to be sure this is square across the top here. That's good. So we're just going to take, we're going to pin it down right now. Okay, so we got our whole project put together here now. So we got a couple, these two here are a little bit short. So I'm going to show you a little trick here. You just take a piece of H-came, just like this, and you cut the heart out of it here, just like this. And then what you do with it is you take, like this is about 1/8 of an inch right here. So you take your dikes and you come in here, see if I can get this where you can see it here. Come in here, cut you a little piece right here. Then you just take a pair of tweezers. So you're holding it, and you just take it and you stick it down in here. Sometimes. That one may be a little bit too long. Try it over here. There we go. Put that in there like that. We'll cut another one here. We won't make this one quite as long. All that does is fill up that little gap right there so that you don't have to have quite as much solder to put in there. And it may help you to finish it off. The other alternative would be to pull these out and cut them a little bit longer, which would be fine too, because there's not that many pieces in this project, so you're not that far along. But this should just show you a little bit of an alternate how to do that. There we go, just like that. Okay, so our project's all done. It's all squared up. So now what we're going to do, get all our stuff kind of cleaned up here a little bit. We're going to go ahead and we're going to solder it up. And like I said before, this is for the beginners, so it's a pretty simple project. We'll go ahead and solder it up right now. And then we're going to go ahead, we'll turn it over and we'll put our hanger on the back, and the project will be all done. So what we're going to do here, we're going to take each of these joints right here, and we're going to take our stainless steel brush and we're going to shine up the edges of them just a little bit. I knocked our little piece out of there. Stick it back in here real quick. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to take, we've got them brushed down. We're going to take and put our flux on our joints. I knocked this one out too. Not doing a very good job here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take my soldering iron. I've had it plugged in for a little while. Going to just take a piece of old U-came here, and I'm going to rub my iron tip on it to make sure it doesn't have a real heat spike in it, because I don't want it to melt my lead when I start. So to get started, I'm just going to take and tin my iron just a little bit, just like that. And then I'm going to start, let's start right here, and we'll just take and we'll put a soldering joint down. I'm going to take about a 1/16 of an inch off the edge of my solder to solder this. I try to make all the beads about the same if you can. This is one of these things where it just takes a little while to get used to. When you come to an intersection here, if you put your solder right here and take about 1/8 of an inch off, you can do all 4 at one time. Same way here. That one there, I wanted to suck in there just a little bit, just add just a little bit to it. And like I've said before in the other videos, soldering is a technique that you learn by practicing and practicing. This is a real quick project, so if you're looking for a little kind of introductory project to get started, this would be probably a good one to try. Okay, so there's our project. We can take these all apart now. This is going to be our little project right here. So it's going to be attractive. It'll be on the wall here. Right across here, we're going to put a hanger so that we can hang it up. We'll probably put the hanger down here so it'll be behind this opaque glass so you won't see it here. If we put it up in here, you're going to see where the hanger's at. So we'll probably put it across between here and here. We'll make it. We'll make the hanger out of some number 12 copper wire. I'll show you how we're going to do that. And I'll go offline and solder up the back side of this and finish up these corners right here. And then when I come back, we'll show you how to put the hanger on it. So I'll be back in a second. I wanted to come back real quick here because we've got this pocket on here. When I turn this over to solder this side, it's not going to be level, and I want this to lay flat. So, like we did in the other one, I've got this box with a hole cut in it, so I can set this on here like this, and this creates a level platform for me to solder on. So we'll leave it on here when we go ahead and put our hanger on here. So, but I'll go ahead and go offline now and solder this up. But I wanted to show you that we've got this propped up off of there. If you don't have something like that, if you got some little if you've got some form wood that you've cut, you could put a couple pieces across here to prop it up. So we're just going to stick it on this box like this, and that'll get us up off the pocket on the other side. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I got the backside all soldered up and everything. We have a little bit of a problem right here. Like I said before, I wish I would have run these longer than I could have fixed right here. But this creates a problem here because we've got an open area here. So this is a little bit hard to solder because it's quite a gap. So the easiest way to solder is just take and just put a little bit of solder in here to start with, like that, and then let it dry or let it harden, and then put a little bit more on it and just let it go just like that. So that'll fill that back in. Normally, if you watch my other videos, I usually leave this long, cut it to a point, and bend it over to fill that gap up. But unfortunately, I didn't cut these quite long enough, and so we had to makeshift that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go offline, and I'm going to sand these down on the 80 grit sandpaper. Before I do that, I'm going to come up here on the backside here, right here and here, and I'm going to fill those in just a little bit. And here again, we're using our drill vise to hold this for us. If you don't have a drill vise, you can use a couple blocks of wood or something to hold this up so that you can get to this so it doesn't fall over on you. And we're just going to fill this up just a little bit right here in the corner. Just like that. And this one here you can see is open on the gap here. So we're just going to put this in here. We can just put it in here straight up and down, really. Take and move this over here so it's kind of in the middle here so you can see it. So I need to flux it just a little bit. Just like that. So I'll go offline, put that on our sandpaper, and I'm going to round the edges just a little bit. Use my emery board to finish it off. And then when we come back, we'll have a hanger bent up, and we'll go ahead and stick it on here, and the project will be done. So we'll be back in a second. All right, we're back. We've got it, all of our corners all cleaned up here now, so everything looks nice and smooth. I think it came out really nice for us. Right here, if you have a little bubble like that, just take your lead dikes and put them in here, and you can just pick that off. Just like that. Just helps the job look a little bit nicer. Okay, so now on the back side here, we're going to put a hanger on it. And I took, this is a number 12 copper wire, and it's going to go right in here. So I just took and bent it around here to fit in here. So I'm going to take and flux it up against the came here. Just like that. I want to keep it down below this clear one here because I don't want people to see where the hanger is actually on the wall. If you're afraid that's going to move on you, just take a little piece of your form wood. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to just take and tin my iron like that. I'm just going to hold this down like this, and I'm just going to take this right here. I'll take and solder that. Now this copper solders really quick, so you'll see how quick it solders on here. There you go. So now we've got a hanger to hang our project by. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll put some flowers in it, and we'll hang it on the wall. We'll come back and we'll take a couple pictures of it and show you what it looks like. And the project. Okay, well, we're back. We got our project all done now. And we've got the flowers in it, and we've got it hung on the wall. So this is basically for a beginner. So I hope you've followed along and have enjoyed the project. You don't need a kiln to do the pocket. This is the one we made by epoxying the pieces of glass together and to create the pocket. So if you have any questions about the project, subscribe to my channel, and I'll get back to you. Hopefully I can answer whatever the question may be. Anyway, it's been a fun project to make, and we'll see you on our next YouTube video.